Hey guys, it's Jake from Wani here. I'm here with the legendary Ross Dolan from Immolation. Ross, how you going, man?
I'm doing well, thanks, Jake. Getting ready to finally visit Australia and New Zealand, and we're all excited, man. It's our first time in 28 years, so the excitement level is at a high for sure.
Yeah, and that actually leads into one of the first things that I wanted to ask you about. It is your first time here in 28 years, so what is it that sort of kept you guys from not touring down under, if that makes sense?
We just never really had any, serious offers come our way, so Dave from Psychroptic was really, one of the first people who kind of approached us and, really saw it, through to its fruition. So we're very, happy that, he reached out to us, and he's a super cool guy, and everything's been very pro so far. I mean, we just got our visas approved actually this past week, so that was a long process. That was about 6-month process, so that was a little crazy, but we're just glad that's behind us now, and now we're just rehearsing individually, for the shows. So
yeah.
So I mean that's basically it. We just never had any really proper offers to come down. So
Okay. All right. You guys do have some big local Australian supports coming out to help you out on this tour. Have you had a chance to check out some of the bands like Astrial, Cruciform, or Disentomb before?
No, not yet. Not yet at all. So I'm looking forward to meeting the guys and to doing some shows with them. That should be cool.
Now, you guys have just finished performing on the European festival circuit. Are you excited to be getting back to playing some of the smaller shows that you play to a more confined crowd than playing those massive European festivals?
Yeah, I mean, we enjoy them all, but I prefer the smaller venues, the club shows, because that's kind of our thing. That's what we're used to, really. So I just like the vibe in a smaller venue. It's more intimate. The crowd is right there, and you could feed off of each other. The vibe, if the vibe is strong and solid, and the energy level's high, it just helps us kind of get into it more. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that. We're glad they're going to be in smaller venues, and I'm just looking forward to that. It should be killer.
Yeah, cool. That definitely sounds cool. So I actually, believe it or not, I actually managed to catch you guys performing at Varken Open Air this year, and I noticed that you were a man down on stage. Is everything okay in the Immolation camp?
Yeah. Bill will be with us for Australia. He's definitely going to be making this trip with us. So you guys don't have to worry. We'll be at 100% for these shows, And the unfortunate thing was he had he made it over to Europe with us, and he had to go home the first day we were there, unfortunately, because he had a family issue with his girlfriend. His girlfriend was in the hospital suddenly, so he had to turn right back around and go home. So it is what it is. I mean, he had to go, so we understood, but it just wasn't the most ideal situation for us playing as a three-piece, as you can imagine. And as you saw, I mean, we did as good as we could as a three-piece, but our music definitely, you need the second guitar because there's so much going on. So.
Yeah, and look, from my viewpoint, down there out in the crowd underneath the tent, it probably didn't suffer as much as you might think it did. It did sound okay, but as you said, like, you sort of do need that second guitarist in there as well. So
sure, and we understand that. I mean, we've had these talks before, and we understand it's probably not as terrible as we're imagining it is out front, but it's definitely a morale killer when one of your guys has to go home, and you're kind of like, okay, we have to move forward as a three-piece. And we've done it before. Bob and I have done the three-piece thing back in '99 before Bill was in the band. We did a full tour in the U.S. as a three-piece, and more recently we did Neurotic Fest and Delirium Fest last year because Bill had some other issues that he couldn't make it. So it's not the most ideal situation, but we make it work, of course. But I'm just really happy that for our first time in Australia and New Zealand, we will be a 4-piece, and we will have the full band there. And, it allows us to play a lot of stuff that we weren't able to play on the summer run. We had a lot more songs, chosen for those shows, but we had to cut a lot of them off the list because they just would not go over well as a 3-piece. So
okay.
Now we don't have to worry about that now.
I'm going to switch over to music now. Kingdom of Conspiracy came out in 2013, and it obviously made a huge impact. A lot of people regard it as one of the best death metal albums of 2013. Since then, we haven't heard anything much from you guys with respect to new music. Is there any new material in the pipeline, and can we expect anything anytime soon?
Absolutely, yeah. The new album is done. We're just finalizing the mixes right now. We're about seven rounds in, and we're expecting a couple of more tonight. But we should be winding down. We should be tweaking just about everything we need to tweak right now. So that's just about done. The artwork is done. We're just waiting on a couple of the inside pieces to get finished up. So yeah, we're just about there, and it's going to be out the end of January. So we're totally excited about that. It's going to have 11 new songs, and it's I guess lyrically, conceptually, it carries on in a similar vein as Kingdom and the Providence EP, and even a little bit of Majesty. So thematically, it's going to be kind of similar to the last couple of releases.
Yep.
And musically, it's definitely Immolation. I think it's a strong album. I'm really happy with it. Bob's really happy with it. The songs are very cool, very solid. And I think every song is very different. Every song has all the Immolation elements that our fans like so much. The multi-layered parts, the big epic sections, the slow, dirgy stuff, the very fast, intense stuff. So it's all there. Every song kind of has a little bit of everything in it. So I think the fans are going to like this one. I'm happy with it. I like it. So
you spoke about the musical direction on it. Obviously it's going to be in the similar vein as the previous albums and the EP which you listed, but was the songwriting process any different this time around?
It was a much longer process this time. We actually started this record last March or April, and I remember when I go to Maryland Death Fest every year, and when we were at Maryland last year just hanging out, we had about 3 songs done back then. And Bob was on a roll at that point, and then, he kind of hit a wall. He had some writer's block. So it took us a lot longer. We had actually planned for this record to be out last year, the end of last year. And, it just didn't pan out like that. So here we are a year later, and, it looks like it's going to be out in next year, early next year. So it's fine. We couldn't rush it, and the label wasn't rushing us at all. They were like, well, listen, take your time, make it good, make it as good as you can. You can't rush this stuff. And,
Yep.
So they understand, we're not, if we say we're going to deliver, we're going to deliver. But if we're having problems, we'd like to hold back and make sure we deliver something that's, we're proud of. So it did take a little longer than normal, but the end result was definitely worth it. So
yeah, nice, very nice. And you guys you alluded there that the label wasn't pushing you, and you guys have been on Nuclear Blast since Majesty and Decay in 2010. How has that relationship been for the band?
It's been phenomenal. It's I have to say, Nuclear Blast has been just amazing with us. I mean, the people over there, they're very attentive to our needs. We have a great rapport with everybody at the U.S. office and all the people we deal with on the German end. And they've really done so much for the band. I mean, no complaints, at all. They're probably one of the coolest labels we've had the pleasure of working with. It's no bullshit with them. They're very supportive of us, and they see the potential in the band. And we see that, just in their actions, how they approach us, how they deal with us, and it means a lot for us at this point in the game, 10 albums in, to have a label that we finally feel is, very much behind the band, very supportive of the band, and a label that most importantly believes in our potential, and I tell you, it's been a pleasure. It's been very stress-free. They're an absolute pleasure to deal with, I mean, really, it's I really can't give them enough praise. I mean, it's been like probably one of the best experiences we've had, and we've been on a lot of labels, as you know.
Yeah. I'm going to ask probably a question now, which is sort of a bit more of a reflective question, but as a band that has had a consistent lineup over the years, what do you think are the characteristics that you attribute that sort of success to?
It's funny because this kind of came up. I did an interview last night, and something similar to this came up, and I think the reason why we've been so passionate for so long is because we've never enjoyed any kind of immediate success. So we've always been grounded, we've always been very focused, and we've always been hungry. You know what I'm saying? We've always been hungry to take it forward and to take it to that next level. And it's always been a challenge for us. We all work full-time jobs. We've always had to kind of balance our personal lives and our work with the band. So the band has always been something that we've always been passionate about from day one. And it's always something that we're constantly, kind of honing and crafting on something new with each. It's not like we know it all. We learn something every time we go through the process. Figure out a way to make things better, to make the songs better. And 28 years has gone by since we started, so obviously we've matured as people, we've matured as musicians, as composers, as songwriters. So, it all kind of lends to the, to the big picture, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. I think just the fact that we're still hungry and we still enjoy this. This isn't a job for us, you know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, we put a lot of time and effort into rehearsing and to, writing and to making sure everything's, right for the, for the visual and, all of the stuff that goes into it behind the scenes. We don't have management, so we kind of take care of all the business. So that's kind of like a full-time job on its own. Yeah. So, but I think that's a big part of it. We've just always been passionate. It's something we really enjoy, and I think if we didn't enjoy it, and if it was that I think if we had to meet. I don't think we're that type of people, but you never know. You never know. You don't know how you're going to deal with a life situation until you're there. So I think that's probably something we could attribute to why things are the way they are. Yeah, nice.
And I guess leading on from that, Immolation as a band always seem like they've got nothing to prove to metal fans around the world, but you guys are constantly pushing those boundaries, particularly in death metal, and you've done so over the course of your career. What is it that, I guess you've sort of touched onto it, but what is it that inspires you to stay true to your roots yet continue to evolve in the death metal genre?
When we started, we had no idea we would still be doing this, let alone make records. That was never our goal. Our goal was just, we were huge fans of this movement, the death metal movement at the time, which was a very small movement, and I think all the bands at the time in the genre were pretty much pen pals of each other and fans, so I think when we started, we always kind of, knew we wanted to create music that was different, that was dark and haunting, that had a lot of feeling, that was extreme in a lot of ways, and that at the same time had something to say, So, I think the fact that we, like I said in the last question, the fact that we still really do enjoy what we do, and, it allows us to kind of, look at it in a certain way where we could say, okay, this last record was cool, and we were happy with it. We're very proud of all of our releases, but how can we make it better? How can we, make the song stronger? And, we learn, like I said, we learn something with each release. So yeah, I think that has a lot to do with the fact that, you know, we still are very passionate and we still really enjoy it. And, you know, maintaining that essence, you know, that we started back in, you know, the essence of the band is still there. You know, the same essence that was there when we recorded the '88 demo, you know, that quest to just write dark, haunting music, you know, that's always kind of what we've been about, you know. Lyrically, we've always been about writing about the darker side of humanity, the darker side of life, the darker side of our world. It's just something that appeals to us, you know. It's something that drives us, you know. You know, we take inspiration just from life, you know, just from the world around us. You know, you can find so much inspiration just from reading the news. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, you know, so it drives us. It drives us, and it, you know, it kind of keeps us focused on the big picture, you know, and it allows us, I think, to kind of, you know, fine tune, you know, the music and the songs and the lyrics. And, you know, we put a lot of time into it. I mean, you know, Bob and I spent a lot of time in the lyrics for this last record. You know, Bob is the songwriter, so he spends so much time just creating the music and creating the different layers that you know, goes into every song, you know. And then, you know, when he finally presents something to me and to the other guys, you know, it's cool to hear his vision, and he hasn't lost that vision from day one. He's just kind of, you know, crafted it and made it better and you know, streamlined it so, you know, he can get, you know, the maximum out of every song, you know. And, you know, I love it. I love to see, you know, what he comes up with each release, you know. And it's probably the coolest part of the whole process is just when the new material starts flowing and we start actually hearing it in the studio for the first time, you know, because, you know, we're not really hearing it ever until it's done. You don't hear it, like our drummer, for example. You know, the first time he's hearing it with the vocals and the leads is when we're starting to get mixes, you know, because he does his tracks and he goes home. So he doesn't really even hear the songs finished until we're getting mixes. So it's very cool to hear it. And same for me. I can only imagine how things are going to be when, you know, when we're in that process. But when you actually hear the mixes finally, like, wow, cool, you know, you have a whole different, you know, perception of the music then, because you're hearing it as a complete entity, you know, which is very cool for us, you know.
Yeah, no, I can completely understand that. So is there anything that you want to let the Australian fans know ahead of the tour, or even fans worldwide? Is there anything you want to say on behalf of Immolation to your fans around the world?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just very excited that we're still here, we're still kicking, we're super stoked to be finally playing down in Australia and New Zealand. I mean, I can't tell you how excited we all are, and it'll be nice to finally get down there. We have about 17 songs we've been rehearsing, so we've picked, you know, material off of all the releases, including the EP. So it should be a really well-rounded set list, and I just can't wait to, you know, experience Australia and New Zealand for the first time, you know. And I'm just looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting a new record out there, and I just, you know, I would just like to extend our gratitude to all of our fans for really being behind us and believing with us, and really you know, making each release kind of like an event for us. You know, the fans are where it's at, man. We have like some of the greatest people supporting, you know, our music and, you know, fans of our music. It really, man, you know, and when we do these festivals and we do shows, I just love hanging out, walking around and meeting people. And man, you know, it's so cool to just meet so many great like-minded people all around the world, you know, who get it and who enjoy the music and appreciate what we do. And, you know, that's a huge motivator for us too, you know. It's just actually hearing, you know, face to face from the people who enjoy our music, you know, what they like about it, or how much it inspires them, or how much it you know, it motivates them, or how much it has helped them through difficult times in their life. You know, that's the payoff right there for us, you know. So yeah, you know, I just wanted to extend that gratitude and thanks to all of our fans worldwide. So.
Right, well, cool. Ross, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you when you come down to Australia.
Awesome. Thank you, sir, and see you then.